This one's from Zentoa. I'm currently working on a top-down shooter. Do you think it's best to upload mini or full-length devlogs around 10 minutes to get your game's name out there, or is it best to keep it low until you are closer to being ready to release? I've seen people do both ways. It's sort of the gradual reveal and you're slowly building, but I've also seen people like work on something for years and then they just like drop this amazing trailer and it goes viral and people freak out. I would say that option B is maybe a little bit more risky. It's a lot more risky to put everything on this giant release at some point. To wait till you've almost finished your game and to not have anybody see it. A common thing that you will hear is the very first thing you should do when you start making a game is marketing. And it maybe is not the very, very first thing, but it's quite early. So you need to think about, how am I going to present this game in whatever form that is to an audience? And the sooner you do that, the more time in the market you have, and it's almost like investing, really. You're building up compound interest. Hey, that's a pun. There you go. You're building interest as you are showing your game. I would do it early. I would start it out as early as you reasonably can to show interesting and cool things. Now, if you don't have anything truly interesting and visually appealing to show off, you're not going to really get any headway anyway. So it's more of a point of, when will I have something to show? And sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of the time, when you see those devlogs of people, devlog 0, right? And they're like, I've been working on my game for a week. No, they haven't. They've been working on their game for a lot longer than a week. And they've just finally reached a point where they have something they can show visually. Yeah, I think plan out, if you're truly serious about being commercial and selling and having that marketing part of your game dev journey, think about a marketing plan of how you're going to present your game and what things you want to show, what order you want them to show them in, how far along the development process you want to show those things. And, you get to a point where your stuff looks good, people are interested in it, and then you're kind of like, oh, look at this feature, look at that feature, right? I think the best, it's not, well, my opinion, here's my opinion. You want to get to a point where you have a vertical slice of the main mechanics of your game. Now, if you don't know what a vertical slice is, people describe it as a sort of a piece of cake. So your entire game is the entire cake. And that cake has many different layers, sound, art, programming, game mechanics, everything, right? And one slice of that cake is going to be one level or one part of a level that's going to show all of those different aspects in as polished of a form that you can get it to at that point, right? So if you have a really cool prototype that you're working on, or you're seriously working on a game that you're going to release, get a single 5-minute experience of that game, super, super polished, and work on all of the different aspects that are included in that. So if you're working on a first-person shooter game, you would have a 5-minute, like you could almost do a video, right? A 5-minute experience, a trailer, a video that show like polished assets, polished programming and functionality. Now, you don't have to make it look like a AAA game, but if you get it to a point where people have a pretty good understanding of what you're trying to achieve and what you're doing in the direction of your art, then you've got something, right? And you can start sharing that. You can start taking parts of that and post it on Twitter, post it on Reddit, make a devlog, on YouTube, build an audience. And if you've got something that's polished and it looks good and is enticing and is interesting, then heck yeah, like post a devlog, because I've seen initial devlogs get like hundreds of thousands of views and tens to 20,000 subscribers off of 2 to 3 videos. That's not everybody, right? But if you hit the right chord, you absolutely can do that. So yeah, devlogs are definitely worth it, and sharing things are definitely worth it, but you got to have a plan. Have a plan of attack. Oliver Nichols 7493 says, great hearing about another dad of little ones. Awesome. Go dads. Thanks for the honest, chill discussion. What mic and video editing software do you use? Good question. Yeah, so I did some research when I started doing this like a year and a half, almost 2 years now. Wow. That went by really quick. Yeah, so this mic is a Audio-Technica shotgun mic. I think it's the AT897. I think it's an older one. The actually, let me grab this one right here. This is more of your dynamic mic. This is the Shure MV7X, and honestly, I don't think it was all that. I think it was under 100 when I got it. But this is a super great. I mean, this is more of a, podcasting kind of mic, and this is good for direction, straight on. The sound is good. So I utilize both these mics in different situations. It's all going through a Focusrite. I think it's a Solo. Yeah, Focusrite Solo. So that's your audio interface, so you can control the gain and monitor and provide some phantom power if you need it. And that's basically the audio setup. Really, if you have at least a clear signal on what your audio is doing, you can clean up a lot of it in post. So that's pretty much all I have for audio hardware. The video editing side, I use DaVinci Resolve exclusively. I tried Premiere. I wasn't a huge fan. And I'm not a huge fan of paying a subscription fee for it. But DaVinci Resolve is free and amazing and utilized in the actual video industry for what it does. So it takes some resources, but any video editing is going to take resources. So you got to have a decent computer to run it. But if you have Apple, I don't use Apple, so I don't know the name of all that stuff. But iMovie, if you use that, I'm sure that's fine. Yeah, DaVinci Resolve and Shure and an Audio-Technica shotgun mic, and gets the job done. Works really well. And then camera-wise, I know you didn't ask this, but I'll answer it anyway, is a Panasonic Lumix G7, which is an older camera, but again, does 4K and 60 frames and does a good job. So yeah, that's the equipment.